Oh my, I see a color that I recognize.
This is the real deal.
The reputation is that the faster you go, the better it handles.
I can feel my fillings falling out of my mouth when I look at it.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises us at this point.
I will eat chalk to win.
None of these bikes are technically for sale, but if this was, what do you think it's worth in today's market? They might be damaged, so.
Oh my. Woo. Oh yeah.
This looks like it belongs in a museum. All right, should we dive into a bike?
Yes, please. Let's
Put
get
something
this
together?
going. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go grab one. Let's see what we got. Here at Pros Closet, we have probably the largest collection of historic bikes in the world. So if you have a bike that you feel is important and you want it to be photographed and talked about it, hit us up in the comments, let us know. It's our passion, we love to tell the stories. And there's a lot of history in these four walls. I have never laid eyes on these bikes, so I'm hoping that they're not damaged. All right, one of my worries is as we unbox these bad boys,
That it might just be a Santa Cruz.
that it might just be a Santa Cruz. That would be a bummer. Is that they might be damaged. So this is the real deal. So, you know, this box here is from our friend Eric Rumphy. He's one of the prominent collectors in the US. He always does some of the best builds, in my opinion. I think our eras of nostalgia line up perfectly, as do ours. So my guess is this bike is gonna pull at our heartstrings a little bit. You ready?
Oh my, I see a color that I recognize.
All right.
Got to take my glasses off. Woo. Oh yeah. Shall we take it out?
Do it, man. Let's do it.
You take that side.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Are we damaged? Oh, it's dirty.
It's dirty.
Look at that. You didn't need. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I like the zip. The matching zip ties is nice.
All right. So we got a Yeti FRO here. This is clearly he wrote it and sent it to us. All of the packaging secrets are getting revealed. You know, we get probably 100 bikes a day at the Pros Closet, and we get to see a lot of different packing jobs. So nothing surprises us at this point.
All right, Nick, lift
All
with
right.
your legs.
All right, I'm gonna hold it up here if you wanna carefully undress it.
Unzip the. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that nice ovalized top tube. What is
Yeah. Back in the day when Yeti was doing graphics like this with the double Yeti, I always loved this, you know, the Easton on the drop tube.
Yeah, just in case you forgot who made it, you know.
Say 4 times on one side.
Now, is this a California or a Durango? 90-91 to Durango, is that true? It was
know-
right after the World Championship.
Right, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hence we have the mountain bike world
Okay, there we
champion,
go.
1989 John Tomac right here.
Uh-huh.
That's a beautiful decal.
It is, that is. Right. Ooh, a nice
Sold something on
Dayglow ATAC stem. This must have been repainted or something.
That looks too pretty.
It's too nice, too nice.
But yeah, what you're looking at there is a team cut stem, meaning they cut out that little circle there in the front to save weight, which I'm sure made a huge difference.
I could tell just in my hand here.
Feels light.
It is light. I'm telling you, I'd be fatigued if it weren't for that team cut. Right.
Those bits go a long way in these restorations, like making sure you have that level of detail in the build speaks to the finished product. There we go. Another detail here, we got the double cages, which I don't know, I think that is a race specific.
This is dangerous, going at this with a blade.
Hat on. Oh,
I think
You
I'm
like
going
your
right
grease.
here. I like my grease. I'll wipe a little bit of that away. I've got carbon compound all over me, grease. I'm not being paid enough.
It's hazardous. Dayglow and Yeti turquoise is a beautiful combination.
I often wonder, like, what the inspiration for these color combos were, because they became iconic, like,
Right.
immediately, right? You
No
know,
kidding.
and to be able to market like that when a lot of the bikes were essentially the same thing.
Right.
You're just throwing different paint jobs on.
Yeah, paint jobs in this
it's
era.
like it's all about the marketing of this era.
Sweet. All right.
Just slide a post in there, and
It's starting to look like a bike.
starting to look like a bike.
There's the IRD post. There's a lot I don't know actually, and that's why I brought my buddy Tasshi Dennis here to help fill in the blanks and keep us honest as
This is a little tight.
talk about history. Is it even the right size?
It is 26.8.
Tashi, what do you know? Do you want to come in here and talk to us about what we
Please.
haven't talked about so far? And thanks for joining us, Tashi. So Tashi has probably the most comprehensive understanding of vintage mountain bike history. And whenever I have a question, whenever I have a bike that I don't know about, whenever there's anything that I need to reference check, I call Tashi. He's been around the block. He knows most of the builders from the early days personally, and most of the best bikes in our museum have been restored by Tashi. He's got a website, Vintage Mountain Bike Workshop, and if you are a collector, you have referenced it, you have looked at it, and you've drooled over it. So Tashi, thank you for joining us and helping make sure our facts are straight. So we're speaking to the history because it's important. The details matter.
I'm a bit nervous to force this one in there. I don't want to get.
Actually, if you look at it from this angle, you'll realize that it's bent.
I'm looking at it.
One thing that's significant about the IRD posts is they were long, and there weren't a lot of long seat posts available early on, and IRD was one of them, and they were reasonably strong, but obviously this has seen some use.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's finish putting this thing together and see how she looks.
All right, Tashi's been working very hard out there in the build room, and we've completed the Pro FRO, so we're going to bring it in and sniff the saddle.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Tashi, let's get the drive side of there you go. Looking good.
All right.
Very cool.
All right, Tashi, we don't know everything, so tell us a little bit about what you're looking at.
Right. So the FRO was for racing only, and I think they had that image from the very beginning about hard riding and racing. And I remember them really talking about the computer bent rear triangle. If you remember that, this is one piece. It starts here, makes that loop, comes around here, loops all around the bottom, back up.
Now, how would you do something like that? That's a tight radius.
It's a tight radius, and with thin tubing, it'll crimp.
Right.
If you bend it traditionally, so they use something called a mandrel bender, and the mandrel bender has a little mandrel inside the tube that follows through and keeps it from collapsing.
No kidding.
So yeah, it was a big deal. And the origins of Yeti was Sweetheart Cycles moto cruisers, and it was a BMX cruiser, and so this is obviously the BMX influence, the dropout like that. So the other thing that was interesting is that they used the top tube cable routing. This came from cyclocross bikes, and the idea was to keep the cables out of the mud, sort of this idea of being all-terrain, all-weather kind of conditions, stuff like that.
Fast forward 5 years, that was like a selling point that manufacturers would use, top-mounted cable routing. It's
absolutely. A lot of brands, Trek even, redid their aluminum bikes with the top tube cable routing. So yeah, it was a big deal.
Of course, when you have a white saddle on a bike, that indicates that this is a racing bike, right? What are any other key components on this build that indicate that this is something that a professional racer may have used?
One thing that jumps out to me is whenever I see one anodized nipple that's close to the valve stem, that was for quick referencing. If you were in a race and you had a flat, you would just spin it, look for that anodized nipple so you could change the flat quickly. So this is you see some racing livery there.
And you mentioned the double bottle bosses on the down tube, but that also allows you to pick up the bike and polish it and run with the bike. Also kind of a cyclocross thing.
This ovalized top tube here
certainly gives you a lot of rigidity in this plane. If you want that, it makes a pretty rigid ride. But.
You look at it and you wince almost. You're just like, oh yeah. I could feel my fillings kind of falling out of my mouth when I look at it.
Yeah, that's right.
There was something about stiffness in these early bikes that I don't quite understand what they were going for. Right? Was it just like a misinterpretation of what performance was, or?
Yeah, all the suspension was in the tires, and they weren't very
Not
big.
very big.
1.95s, they're pretty small.
Yeah.
I think, it boils down to broken parts
Right,
at the
right.
time.
Just
It's
trying to make it durable.
Yeah, durability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're talking 1990 here. Yeti had I think, most recognized pro team on the circuit. When these guys were at the start line, they were noticed.
So they had a perfectly matched kit. And
Yeah.
of course, the team just had this look to it. You looked at them and it was like, those are the rock stars of the sport.
Edo helmet.
Yeah, big props. It didn't last long,
No.
but things this great rarely do.
Yeah. Well, none of these bikes are technically for sale that are in the museum, but if this was, what do you think it's worth in today's market?
What's on here that would grab a higher price other than selling it just like the frame set?
Well, if it had a Tioga disc on the back,
Okay.
that would set it up,
Right.
Much more.
I think one thing that really affects the value of these, and this is a good example that supports a higher number, is the fact that it is still full rigid. So a lot of people had these bikes in the later 90s and they got the RockShox, they got the Manitou, they put that on, they threw this fork away, or they left it at the bike shop.
Of course, right.
And
Just
then
amazing to
they
think.
have the frame,
Yeah.
and you probably pay as much for the fork as for the frame.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's pretty significant. The fact that it's a full rigid bike, it's got the the original graphics here and that neon paint. That's a big selling point.
Yeah.
We're talking the advent of pros adopting suspension readily, 92 or so, 93,
Yeah.
so that's when you're seeing the last of these. So this bike right here is the last of the era.
That's right, right.
Of a high-end bike being, the highest end bike being rigid.
It's pretty well set up. Probably 3,500,
Really? I would have guessed more.
maybe more.
I think the prices of vintage mountain bikes have been going up. 38, 4,000?
Possibly.
Yeah.
38, 4,000. Yeah, I don't have a much better guess than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reputation of the Yetis is that the faster you go, the better it handles.
That's a great marketing.
Don't hold back.
Great marketing gimmick. Doesn't ride well, you're not going fast enough.
Going fast
That's
enough.
it.
That's your problem.
That's your problem, not ours.
User error.
Oh, very cool, very cool. I love the power bar sticker here. That brings back a lot of memories. I can't believe, I mean, that was, I remember before mountain bike races in the 90s, like forcing a power bar down my throat, thinking that was going to give me superpower.
You could knock someone out with those things.
Could.
They were long and they were hard.
And I bet you,
Just
if we unboxed some vintage power bars, they'd be just as good as when they were brand new. They do not age.
They just,
That's your racing chops right
That's
there.
it.
is
That's
the power
it.
bar
The
sticker.
power bar
I think
sticker.
that-
That's how you know you're serious. I will eat chalk to win.
all right. Well, let's hang this thing up. I think it's time that we put it on display, clean it up since Eric didn't do that for us, and have customers enjoy it. Come look at it. Pros Closet Museum infiltrates all of our offices, so you're welcome to come by and ask for a tour. And if I'm here, I would love to give you my own personal tour. So until next time. Oh boy. This bike's so badass.